Welcome to the March 15th, 2021 Advanced Report for McGowan Group clients and NetWorthRadio.com listeners. I'm Spencer McGowan, your financial weatherman, president of McGowan Group Asset Management. For this week's fast-paced tour of the global financial markets, huge shifts in money flow for 2021. So it's worth getting the pen out, and be sure to subscribe, share this with your friends, and you'll get fast-breaking news and notifications. Here we go. Dow Jones Industrial Average did rise to about a 6% gain for the year, had gone slightly negative, and that rally was accompanied by small stocks, which are even bigger rally. S&P 500 is about a 4% year to date. What we see right here, the different sectors that make up the S&P 500. Obviously, this one is the most interesting. It's a 42% gain for energy. The energy sector, of course, beleaguered last year, but leading the S&P so far this year. In fact, if you take the other parts of that index, if you removed energy, then you've got an S&P that is barely positive. Now, look at this. When you go down to the bottom, you get the sector last year, consumer staples, that was the most popular. Everybody bought Kleenex and Huggies from Kimberly-Clark, based here in Dallas. And that shift towards value, but also the recovery stocks. And that's what we're seeing here. I've got one of those recovery stocks that we'll look at later just for fun. Here we go. This is the number of vaccines administered. The rally, of course, accompanied this. This is 100 million shots administered. I guess that translates to near 50 million total inoculations, at least underway. And you know, that means about a third of the population already making antibodies. And that's an important milestone. And you can see December ramping up, early January, and then of course the delivery at about 3 million a day now. So that's great news for the recovery. Employment. This is a very important graph because you hear all kinds of things about employment. Why is this graph important? This is total people in the labor force, total employed, including farm workers. They exclude it from some of the reports, but hey, farmers make up a big part of it. We have some good farmers in our client base here. 158,735,000 record number of people employed with distance before the pandemic. This right here, 133 million. That means tragically, but thank God temporarily, you had 16 million that lost their jobs like that. Well, we're back up to 150,239,000. So there's 8,500,000 to go to be at record employment. 6.9 million jobs are posted to be filled. So over time, it is likely that we can reach back to that maybe in 2022, optimistically early in 22. All right, this is the oil market, and that was the last super cycle. This is 2006, 2007. Before the crisis, oil was 147. Now, that was called a super cycle. That meant demand was bigger than supply, and the price, of course, went up. This is a supply-driven collapse, the shale revolution. We abandoned our pipelines at a nice profit right in here when they broke support, and we added it back a little bit too early in 2017. You can see we just should have waited till March to do the energy infrastructure. However, this sector leading with oil hitting 66. What does a super cycle look like? And what does it look like with demand being restored in 2022? It's an interesting topic because it's one of the reasons the energy sector is leading the way back here. And what does the next cycle look like? We'll bring you some more research on that as we get it. Now this is interesting. Oil 66 now. If you go to the futures market, you go all the way up to 2024, it's just 52. And that means there will be volatility in the exploration and production companies like ExxonMobil. That would be potentially detrimental. That's why we like the infrastructure, because it's a more stable daily income from flow. This one is just for fun. if we go to GameStop here, what we've got is 483 at the high. GameStop's up 14 times so far this year. What's the company worth? I would say it's worth about 20% of the current price at $277. This was the short squeeze from the Robinhood Reddit bandits, and it also shows you the speculative bubble that we're in because they're valued at 20 billion. A reasonable metric would put the value at 4 or 5 billion. And so dangerous, fast trading, but it is notable how this new generation came into the markets. Yes, in a speculative way, but that's great that the new generation is actually picking up the mantle, if you will, of investing. Now, this is, obviously we don't want to be here, we want to be here. What is this? This is Tesla, year to date, at a minus 4%. It entered the S&P higher than its current price, and this is the pipeline index up about 29% plus yield on top of that. It tells us about that shift that I mentioned at the first part of the program. It changes things, and investors are moving to great values, great dividends, great cash flow, because money markets are essentially zero. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to go to networthradio.com. You can actually message us there. You can also call the office if you'd like to schedule your time for an either Zoom meeting or here in the office. We look forward to updating your plan for 2021-2022. Thank you for tuning in to our YouTube channel. I'm Spencer McGowan, President McGowan Group, your financial weatherman. We sponsor each week networthradio.com broadcast that has the charts and graphs, many of which you saw today. We also sponsor this YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe for fast breaking news, an alert when we post something in a market condition that may have changed. Our goal is to help you as an investor make the right decisions at the right time. And that's part of what this YouTube channel is about, as well as networthradio.com. I am well served with a team of 10 people, including myself. And that team that cares is actually made up of people who devoted to your net profits and your success, as well as excellence in service. If you want an educational experience to follow this up, get to networthradio.com, themcgowangroup.com. Right here, we disclose our net client experience all the way back to 2001. What that includes, the bear market cycles of 02, 08, 2018, and the recoveries through the most recent quarter. That is true education of investors, and exactly how our clients have done, disclosed right here. Further disclosures, value at risk of loss. Yes, investments are going to fluctuate. That's part of the reason for this broadcast, and that can actually work to your advantage. We'll build that into your plan. So I urge you to go to networthradio.com, fill out the preliminary client questionnaire, a free 1-hour brainstorming session by phone or at the Crescent in Dallas, and we will map out a multi-year plan for you and your family that's appropriate. Just because we talk about a security on this broadcast, or any securities, doesn't make it a recommendation for your portfolio until you have that written plan. Thank you for tuning in today, and we'll be back next week as your financial weatherman.